The Romans were known for their ability to construct monumental buildings and infrastructure on a massive scale using innovative construction techniques. Many of these structures have stood for over 2,000 years and still function or inspire awe in their ruins. The 10 structures I will cover in this video include aqueducts like the Pont du Gard and Aqueduct of Segovia, amphitheaters like the Colosseum and Amphitheater of El Diem, and iconic monuments like the Pantheon and Library of Celsus. So join me as we explore these architectural wonders of the ancient Roman Empire. Number 10. Celsus Library. The renowned Library of Celsus celebrates the memory of Tiberius Julius Celsus Ptolemaios, as stated in one of the facade inscriptions. Celsus Ptolemaios, a senator and proconsul, was one of the city's most influential people in the late 1st century AD. According to author Isabella Misksak, he fought for a local library, and his legacy was passed down to his son and other family following his death. In the 1910s, archaeologists unearthed the remnants of the colossal facade, and in the 1970s, Volker Michael Straka oversaw the rebuilding of the countless sections recovered. The monument had a library and a tomb with a sarcophagus containing the bones of Tiberius Julius Celsus Ptolemaios in an apsidal subterranean chamber. Archaeologists determined that the structure was destroyed by an earthquake or fire in AD 262. Number 9. Segovia's Aqueduct. The Aqueduct of Segovia, located on the Iberian Peninsula, is still structurally intact today, making it one of the best preserved examples of ancient Roman construction. It was erected in 50 AD to help transport drinking water from the River Frio to Segovia. When completed, it was an astonishing 16-kilometer-long edifice made of around 24,000 massive granite pieces. Just like the Pont du Gard, Roman engineers erected the whole structure without using mortar. For decades, this architectural wonder has served as a symbol of Segovia, with 165 arches that are all more than 30 feet 9 meters high. Following years of usage and structural deterioration, the aqueduct required extensive restoration in the 15th and 16th centuries. In the 1970s and 1990s, significant and required conservation activity was conducted to preserve the monument and its grandeur. Number 8. Maison Curie. Maison Curie is the only temple from ancient Rome that has been totally intact to this day. This masterpiece of Roman engineering was created in 16 BC in Nimes. Maison Curie is an architectural marvel that rises 49 feet 15 meters tall and spans 85 feet 26 meters. Marcus Vipanius Agrippa, a Roman general, constructed it in commemoration of his 2 young boys who perished. Maison Curie received a new lease of life in the 4th century when it was converted into a Christian church, just as the Roman Empire was about to collapse. This choice saved this magnificent temple from the neglect and ruin that plagued so many other Roman structures and sites. Number 7. Diocletian's Palace. This magnificent structure was constructed by the great Roman Emperor Diocletian in preparation for his retirement. Diocletian was the first Roman emperor to voluntarily resign, citing poor health. After retiring on May 1st, 305 AD, he lived a tranquil life in this splendid mansion. The palace is around 705 feet 215 meters from east to west and has walls that are about 85 feet 26 meters high. At a time when the Roman civilization was transitioning from classical to medieval periods, builders were able to blend several construction types utilized throughout history. It also helped that Christians utilized the palace as a church throughout the Middle Ages, ensuring that its structural integrity was preserved. Today, Diocletian's Palace is one of Croatia's most visited archaeological destinations. Number 6. Jerash. Jerash is a Jordanian city located around 45 kilometers northwest of Amman. Under the streets of today's city are the remnants of one of the region's major metropolitan centers from ancient times. This archaeological site is renowned as the Pompeii of the East because the ruins are wonderfully preserved. The village, which was most likely built by Antioch IV in the 2nd century AD, had an urban boom under the Romans. This was when the city joined the Decapolis 10 cities that ruled the area at the time. The 2nd and 3rd centuries saw the construction of new temples, colonnaded avenues, theaters, and nymphaea, which is why tourists are so pleased today. In addition, a triumphal arch and a circus were built in a growing section of the city. Following decades of abandonment, a new settlement emerged on the city's eastern side, under which remnants are still buried. Number 5. Ostia. Ostia is one of the hidden beauties of Rome, located just 30 kilometers from the city center. In ancient times, this city served as Rome's harbor and controlled access to the Tiber River. The preservation of ancient architecture makes this a great site to visit for a fast day trip to see history. You may stop by an antique street tavern, go through a block of apartments, enter a fancy home, or sit by the big theater and envision past performances. You may also visit several of the city's baths, which are adorned with elaborate mosaics. This is the finest alternative for experiencing what it was like to live in an empire's suburbs, and I highly suggest it. Number 4. Pompeii. Pompeii has long astounded visitors, authors, painters, and anybody else who has walked through its streets. This Roman ghost city, found in 1748 and partly excavated, is the ideal site to comprehend Roman everyday life, since the ruins are properly preserved from a certain point in time. Archaeologists are continuously discovering the wonders and riches of this extraordinary city, which was devastated by Mount Vesuvius' explosion in 79 AD. You may tour opulent houses like the House of Menande, visit public baths like the suburban baths or Stabian baths, and explore old brothels. Then go to the city market, theater, and amphitheater to witness what street life was like. One of my favorite activities is visiting fast food street bars, such as the one recently discovered in Region V, or reading the relics of political propaganda and imagining myself as a Roman. Number 3. Theater of Aspendos. Aspendos has a wonderful Roman theater. Zeno, a Greek architect from Aspendos, created the edifice after being commissioned by the brothers C. Crispinus and C. Auspicitus. This is shown by the inscriptions on the structure. Marcus Aurelius' reign 161 to 180 AD saw the construction of this edifice, which combines Greek and Roman styles. What most astounds tourists is that the whole structure, including the facade and top galleries of the grandstand, is almost intact. If you want to get a 360-degree view of what it was like to see a play in the Roman era, here is the place to go. Number 2. Pantheon. The Pantheon is undoubtedly the best preserved architectural masterpiece from the ancient Roman period. Unlike many other contemporaneous Roman temples, which were nearly invariably devoted to certain Roman deities, the Pantheon housed all of the Roman gods. The temple was finished around 125 AD during Hadrian's reign. The Pantheon has a massive circular portico that leads to a rotunda. A beautiful dome covers the rotunda, adding to its majesty. The sheer grandeur and magnitude of this dome are enduring testaments to the abilities of ancient Roman builders and engineers. The fact that this incredible piece of engineering still exists today, enduring 2,000 years of corrosion and natural calamities, says much about its construction excellence. Number 1. The Roman Colosseum. When the famed Colosseum was erected in ancient Rome, it measured 620 by 523 feet, 189 by 159 meters, making it the biggest amphitheater at the time. In 72 AD, Emperor Vespasian started building the Colosseum, the biggest and most popular ancient Roman landmark. When his son Titus completed it in 80 AD, a never-before-seen amphitheater with a seating capacity of more than 50,000 was ready for use. It could hold so many spectators that up to 80 distinct entrances were erected. It is reported that its inaugural ceremony, the biggest of all spectacles, lasted almost 100 days. During that period, about 5,000 animals and 2,000 gladiators fought to their lives in an incredible spectacle of gladiatorial and bestiarious conflicts.